Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Max Frequency Podcast. I am your host, Max Roberts, and I have the distinct honor and privilege of being joined by none other than Mark from Mark's Rec Room. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hey, Max, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, it's so good to hear your sweet dulcet tones here on the end.
Thank you, I'm honored.
Well, I just, for those not familiar, Mark is a YouTuber, I'd say, essayist, and does a lot of videos about Mario Party and other party games that are generally like an hour, 70 minutes long, somewhere in that ballpark. And your voice is just so calming. Like, you could do one of those go to sleep channels, and I mean this in a positive way. Like, you could just Mario Party facts for 3 hours until you fall asleep. You know what I mean?
I had somebody comment that before. They were like, "Oh, I fall asleep to your videos," and he was like, "I hope you take that as a compliment." I was like, "I do. It's a great honor. So thank you."
You definitely have the voice for it. So we met in our mutual friend Brian Hankins, a little essayist Discord. Actually, did Brian invite you into the server? I actually don't know how you got into the server, but you appeared one day. And then we've become friends through the server. So what?
Brian ran around in thick grass for too long, and I randomly encountered him too. No, actually, Wizawhat introduced me to everybody because he and I had chatted a little bit just through, I think it was like Twitter DMs and stuff like that before. Because he made a Star Fox video, I made a Star Fox video, and that's kind of how we first met.
The Star Fox brothers. There's more than two of us now. Poor Star Fox.
And we will hold strong. It's a mutual trauma, I think. But
yeah, I mean, they did eventually put out Star Fox 2, so like they at least think about it from time to time.
They do. We'll see him again, I'm sure.
Maybe on Switch 2. Could you imagine? That would be
with the mouse controls.
I mean, sure.
Have you ever played Sin and Punishment 2 Star Successor?
Mm-mm.
It's a treasure game. Same people who made like Ikaruga. Yeah. One of my favorite games like of all time. It's like a rail shooter, but with the Wii's pointer controls. So you use like the Wii remote and nunchuck, and so you have like it does decoupled aiming just perfectly in my eyes, and so it's like a really challenging but very fair experience. I love that game.
Okay, the box art is pretty sick.
Yeah, it's sick. It's a really fun game. The original on N64 is a fun one too, but Star Successor, that's my jam.
Didn't they put Sin and Punishment on NSO?
They did. Yeah, it was on Wii U Virtual Console, and that was the first time it ever released outside of Japan, I believe. And then they put it also on NSO, and it's really fun in both places.
Okay, yeah. I've seen Sin and Punishment footage quite a bit, so okay, got it. I'm going to have to give this Star Successor a look, because that sounds pretty sick, honestly. But, so Wiz, good old Wiz, love Wiz. He was the last person on the show, so that was, this is serendipitous, just sequencing of the episodes. But we met up in this little server, making essays. You do it far more frequently than I do. And you just put out a new video about one of my favorite party games, which is We Party You, and We Party. I love both of those. But you did We Party You here not terribly long ago as of recording. And as I'm watching it, all these questions are popping in my head. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, I should just have Mark on the show to get answers to my questions because I love your videos. I find the niche that you have kind of carved out fascinating, and I have some questions about that, which really I think leads to my main question that I had, which is, how does one become the party game man? Like, you, when I think of Mario Party now, I think of you, and I assume that most of your audience does and most people do, but also I would assume people in your real life also think of you as this guy. At the very least, if you're making videos and work about it, people know you equate to Mario Party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people definitely do. Like when I was in college, so the party games have always been a big part of my life personally. Like, video games in general have always been a very communal activity for me. My friends all play games, my siblings and family play games. Like, we have been playing like party games and like multiplayer games together for like a long, long time. So it's always just been a big part of like my games experience. But going to college, like my apartment was kind of known as like the Mario Party apartment a little bit, just because we were kind of just constantly playing Mario Party, like all of the different entries together. We would get real sweaty about it, if I'm being honest. But like it was like it's just always been a big part of what I love about gaming, which is like bringing people together and kind of serving as this social glue that kind of would bring us all together to like just have some fun and chat and play this game that like really brought us together. And playing it with a lot of people, both people I know who are super big gamers and, you know, have loved playing games for as much as I have. And then also a lot of people who don't really play games, and kind of watching what they would respond well to in certain entries versus what they maybe wouldn't respond well to in other entries, I think was kind of the first catalyst that was like, that made me want to explore, okay, what is it about each of these games that succeeds and what is it that doesn't? So yeah, I guess that's kind of how it started. I've always been a big Mario Party head, but like the idea of writing reviews about Mario Party, ones that are especially detailed, I think it just kind of came naturally because of how much I really enjoy playing these games with all different sorts of people, really.
It's interesting that you say you make reviews about them, which they are reviews. You kind of you score them and the mini games within them and stuff. But really, I think of them more as they're not just reviews; they're also histories, and that contextual histories of not only the games but the developers behind them, Hudson and ND Cube. And I would think, as someone who has also done historical research and writing about game developers, primarily in my case, Naughty Dog, I feel like it's got to be harder to find like historical interviews, context, just information about the development of these games. And you seem to do a really good job of pulling it all together and telling the story of how what was once an annual franchise, like how it evolves and how these developers would approach it. How do you go about researching these games beyond I really like X mini games and this, like the game design part makes sense. You look at it, you provide your opinion, you get analytical about it. But the history part, you got to find it. So I'm curious how you go about researching a project.
Yeah, so you're 100% right in the sense that people don't seem to really ask party game developers a lot about the process behind these sorts of games because they're annual franchises, and to a lot of people it's the same. Like and that was always something that, as somebody who is a little who has played every Mario Party like kind of at nauseum, it's always frustrated me a little bit because I would read reviews of party games that would, to me, lots of times it would feel like they had kind of just played it a little bit and said it's the same thing and kind of wrote it off. And I can't necessarily blame them for doing that, especially if they were, you know, playing it by themselves, you know, to write a review ahead of launch. It's fairly difficult to glean, you know, like what kind of like minute details and changes were made at something that somebody with a lot of hindsight and a lot of hours into these games playing them with friends can kind of see a little bit more and delve into a little bit more. But like developer history is really, really challenging to find But what I find really interesting is one interview that I found was incredibly illuminating, which was the Iwata Asks interview about Wii Party. And like, because firstly, it's one of the most in-depth interviews that anybody's ever done with the Mario Party team. But I thought it was also very illuminating in the sense that ND Cube, or now known as Nintendo Cube,
not confusing at all, by the way. Not just like it's
yeah,
not like they
Nintendo
had a
Cube.
product called the Nintendo GameCube. Like,
right. And Nintendo Cube, not Nintendo, a second-party studio, but mostly owned by Nintendo. Originally, yeah.
It's not confusing at all.
No, totally not. It's but like ND Cube took over like kind of the Mario Party series with Mario Party 9, the last entry on the Wii. And they started with Wii, like their party game output started with Wii Party. But the people at ND Cube largely were a lot of the same people from that were originally developing the Mario Party games from the very start at Hudson Soft. So the core people who were responsible for these games didn't really change. Like the current president of ND Cube or Nintendo Cube, Shuichiro Nishiya, he's been working on Mario Party games since Mario Party 2 on the Nintendo 64. Like, he's had his hand in, I think, every single one except Mario Party E and Mario Party Island Tour. So he's been like directly involved in like a directorial position. But like when Mario Party 9 came, and it changed a lot because for the uninitiated, when you think of Mario Party, especially classic Mario Party, you think of, everybody moving around on the board and collecting stars and stuff like that. And you play mini games and you get coins and you use those coins to buy stars. Mario Party 9 came and changed it by carpooling. They put everybody
the car.
It's the car. But they put everybody into one car and you move together and you collect mini stars, which are essentially stars and coins rolled into a victory objective. I'll spare you the think piece about like what I think about it. I have a 90-minute video about it.
It's a great video and everyone should go watch it. I remember the part when you get to the car. Oh my gosh, it's a great video. Everyone should go watch it because I remember this game coming out and playing. So while I've played a lot of Mario Party, my friends are always the ones that end up buying it, not me. I've actually only really started buying my own copies of Mario Party games on the Switch here so that we could play online with some friends and stuff. But when I went over to play Mario Party 9, we were just like, what's happening? What is this? What is happening?
Oh yeah, man. It was like so jarring because I remember when that game came out, I was so excited for it. And like, I just found myself like really it was like one of the first times I think I was really truly disappointed in a game. Cause I was a teenager when Mario Party 9 came out. And so I was like, oh man, like this is actually like a major bummer. Like why did they change this core of Mario Party? And a lot of people were wondering that, like, why change a core formula that's worked so well? And that was kind of the catalyst for me wanting to kind of delve a little bit more into cataloging the why, especially post Hudson Soft, post a very established formula for Mario Party and into an era where they were kind of changing a lot. It's like, well, why were they changing it? And a lot of chatter for a long time online was, well, NG Cube doesn't get it. Like, it's a new studio. They don't get Mario Party. Hudson Soft did. And for me, I'm like, well, it's the same people though. If anybody gets this series, it's them. And instead it was like, this has to be a intentional creative decision. It has to be something that they saw a problem in the previous formula, and they saw, like, from what I found in that interview, is that they found success in what Wii Party set out to do and accomplished, in my personal opinion. And we're like, how do we bring this freshness to Mario Party, a series that a lot of people tend to look at and say, oh, you've released the same game 8 times 8 times in a row over the course of like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a very long-winded answer to your question, but I think it's very interesting kind of delving into what sparked such a drastic shift in the series and why, like, and also how did they keep a annual series running so consistently with like while making changes to the formula in the in between.
Mm-hmm. You're sitting here, it's dawning on me that your reviews really are the level of depth into the game that like old video game reviews would be, where I remember like IGN used to review and it would be multiple pages on the website and that they would get like nitty gritty. Like whoever reviewed the game played the game, or EGM. I remember the Ocarina of Time reviews, the screenshots, like you could tell that they 100%ed the game. They poured the time into it to come up with a full opinion. And now these days, that may or may not be the case depending on the audience. But what's, I guess, to your benefit, and anyone who would cover older games, is they've been out forever. You have all the time in the world. And I think what's particularly interesting to you and Mario Party is that you were playing these games already and you grew up with them. And actually, so the only Mario Party game I ever owned up until the Switch was Mario Party DS. And so I was watching your video, and similar to how you in the video were like, I remember these being better. I remember liking these boards or games, what have you, more. And then coming back as an adult, you're like, well, this isn't quite what I thought. You have the history and the context both of growing up with them and then coming back as an adult who, with a fully, formed brain who can make critical thinking skills,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because it is easy to brush off, especially an annualized, more casual game. It's easy to brush it off. Even Mario Kart, it to a degree is easy to brush off. Oh, it's just Mario Kart again. It's just they drive cars, they do laps. And really, that's not the case when you look at it. The GameCube games I remember being pretty different mechanically. Like, is it 5 that has the day-night cycle?
It's a 6.
6. See, this is, first of all, they fit 4 Mario Party games on the GameCube. That's
I don't
that's
know
a lot.
how they did it.
It is so much. I remember my friend having the microphone and thinking that was so cool. I still want the microphone. I still need to get one. I think that's valuable. And you have this ability to go as deep as you want / need to without, I guess, like the urgency today of, hitting some sort of embargo and having deadlines and all these things. Like you can marinate on the game. And the other thing this is what I want to ask you is, you're going in order. It's like your series is going in order, and not only are you going in order, but you seem to be going in order of just all of the party games, so to speak, because you've done Wii Party and then Wii Party U, which obviously, they were developed before Mario Party, what's next, 10, or Island Tour, I think is next. Like, you're going in order of the release of Nintendo party games.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason beyond just it like makes sense to go in chronological order? Because you're playing, 9 or whatever, and you're disappointed, and it's like, well, why? Why did this change? But to get to that answer, you've played 10 plus other games first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true, because I have this problem where I want to be thorough. Like because my philosophy with like YouTube and like reviewing and stuff like that is that I want the audience to be able to kind of get an understanding of where I'm coming from, and like why I might have a perspective that I have, or like that my positions or my opinions are fleshed out to where, like, you could kind of look back and see a through line of like, oh, like to almost to the point where you could maybe predict what I was going to say, like what I might like or what I might not like, because I've fleshed out my philosophy of what makes a good party game or what makes a good RPG or whatever that might be. And so like I kind of have this problem where like if I'm going to review like a series, I kind of want to go through and give a very comprehensive outlook so the audience has something to watch so that way they can really fully understand my critiques in a holistic sense, and they can just kind of get a better understanding of where I'm coming from. So like for Mario Party 9, I wrote my Wii Party and my Mario Party 9 video like kind of one after another. Because I wanted my like I was reading that Wii Party interview and I thought it was fascinating because I thought it kind of did two things at once. It highlighted both kind of the strangely like intense like process that it took for Wii Party to even be created and out the door. And it also like kind of highlighted this shift in design, this shift in philosophy for party games and what that could truly mean. Where I think one of the most interesting parts of that is that the developers were talking about how like they were kind of approaching their deadline, and the whole time they were kind of having this philosophical crisis of like, well, what is like a party when you break it down like in its purest form? And that question is funny. Like it's very funny to ask yourself like, well, what is a party? But it kind of gave them this idea like, well, it's like really about, you know, having a good time with friends, and it's about, you know, creating these social experiences that connect you to other people and give you this like kind of novel feeling of like, you know, sharing an experience with somebody else. And and with Wii Party, it manifested in this idea of, you know, let's create a bunch of succinct, you know, really fast paced modes that are out of the box and very focused on mini games. So you're just kind of constantly having those little moments, those little connections with the people you're playing with. And then you also have like the house party section where it's using like the room around you and like the materials in an interesting way, like the hardware in an interesting way.
Hide the Wii remote is goated. It is one of the best mini game, like just little games to play I've ever had. It is the reason I would go. Like if I went to my friend's house who has Wii Party and they're like, you want to play Wii Party? I'm like, yes. Let's do it. Let's hide the Wii remotes. It's so good.
It's so much fun. And like, you know, you're hearing like the little like animal noises coming out of the Wii remotes, like coming from behind the TV or whatever. It's a blast. It's truly a blast. Like even years later as a grown man, like with grown friends, it's so much fun. And like, yeah, so I'm just very interested in giving people like, you know, a very holistic understanding of where I'm coming from with like my critiques. So hopefully they can understand what it is that I like and I respond well to, and I'm kind of noticing within these games, and then kind of gives them the ability to kind of figure out, okay, like, do I agree with him here? Do I think that this part of his philosophy makes sense? Or, you know, like do I see where he's coming from in this sense or whatever? I just feel like it gives the audience a lot more to latch on to.
Yeah, I like it. I've certainly have learned a lot watching your series, so I'm becoming.
I'm glad.
I'll graduate from Mario Party University by the end of it all. But in that, so you're tackling. I'm just gonna say the Nintendo Party games because of Cube and obviously Wii Party and Wii Party U. This series though has an end, so to speak. Like eventually you'll catch up with the current releases of the Mario Party series, which at least as of this recording is Jamboree TV, or I guess it's technically like Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV.
We're getting to Raido Kuzunoha levels of long titles.
It's getting pretty bad. But eventually you'll catch up. And so how do you, and as a creator, I assume like when you get to Mario Party Jamboree, it's not like, well, I'm retired, I'm done, peace out. you would keep making videos and thoughtful videos. I imagine you would like to do more deep dives, reviews, retrospectives, so on and so forth. How do you view that? Is that a goal to work towards and you're encouraged by that there's an end to it? Or are you worried about it? Because when you run out of Mario Party games, are you no longer the Mario Party guy? I don't know. How do you look at that, as it's the horizon so far away at the moment? But
it's a really good question, and it's one I've thought a lot about personally. Because, we are, like, I am kind of approaching the end of the Mario Party series, but, the way that I see it, I will always have stuff to yap about. I am like a certified yapper, and I love talking about games in general. So I will, like, there will always be things that I'm interested in writing about and talking about, and especially coming from a multiplayer perspective, because, like I said, multiplayer games have always been a big part of my life. So I could totally see myself, doing series on other party games and other multiplayer games, especially so I definitely have an interest in covering party games outside of Mario Party. I've mostly kept to the Nintendo ND Cube party games, because what I've wanted to find out is, like, Mario Party. Mario Party is interesting because nobody has been able to replicate it. There are a lot of developers that have been able to make competitive like kart racers to Mario Kart. Like, you have your Crash Team Racings, and you have your your Sonic Team Racings, or your Sonic Riders, Mickey Speedway USA if you're into that. But, like,
hey man, it's good time.
Yeah, but, like, nobody, like, there have been Mario Party competitors, but, like, while you'll find people who will say Crash Team Racing is better than Mario Kart, or Diddy Kong Racing is better than Mario Kart, there's very, very few people who will say Sonic Shuffle is better than Mario Party, or, like, Pac-Man Party is better than Mario Party. And it's interesting to me.
My wife would say that Shrek's party game is better. She loves that one. What is it called? Shrek's
Super Party with the chibi characters?
Yes. So they have that at their house for PlayStation, and I don't know, they saw it on the shelf one night, and she's like, Max, we got to play this. So I went out and bought another DualShock. I'm like, all right, I'll sit here and play this game. And I mean, it's a party game.
Yeah, it's one of those. I like, it's a party game. I wouldn't say that it's better than Mario Party personally, but, like, I do think that there is interesting insight to be had with games like, especially like Sonic Shuffle is an interesting one, I think. Because, I mean, a lot of people have written it off as bad because it's a little bad. But there are interesting ideas in there. Like, have you ever played Sonic Shuffle, perchance?
No, I actually have never heard of it, which probably says a little bit of something. I just bought a Dreamcast, though, a couple of months ago.
Oh,
so,
no way.
Yeah, it's my first Sega console.
I'm a bit of a Dreamcast head. I love me some Dreamcast games, but Sonic Shuffle is particularly interesting. Number one, because it was developed by Hudson Soft. Same people who make Mario Party. But number two is it uses the VMU in a really interesting way. So, in Sonic Shuffle, the point of the game is that, like, you don't roll dice, you use cards to move. And on your VMU, it shows you your hand, like, as if you're holding a deck, or like a hand of cards. So you can see your hand, but nobody else can. So it's like using the hardware in this really, really interesting way. But it has some flaws. It's got some flaws in the way that it does things. But, like, I just think that that's like there's definitely interesting things to be had in those sorts of games, even if they're not great,
Mm-hmm. That's a super cool idea for the VMU, honestly. It's pretty sick. I can't imagine looking at a hand of cards on that tiny screen, but it's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's like surprising how well they pulled it off. Truly.
That's neat.
But yeah, so like, I like I am obviously a little nervous to come to the end of the Mario Party series because I know a lot of folks that watch me currently really like that series, and I'm thankful. To be honest with you, I never thought this series would like have gotten anywhere. Honestly, it was always just kind of a little bit of a passion project, and I'm thankful that it seems like people are like actually really connecting with it. There's definitely more ideas in the chamber, and like when it comes to like multiplayer games, there's definitely more series I would love to do. I've kicked around several in the past, like for, staple multiplayer series like Mario Kart or, like even Monkey Ball and stuff like that. But, I think it's really going to come down to what I feel most interested in, as we kind of wrap that up.
I like it. Okay. I'm deciding where to go because obviously we'll go this way. So your channel isn't just the reviews. There are videos in between because your review videos are long. They're usually an hour plus, very detailed, a lot of editing, research, so on and so forth. But you keep the channel kind of flowing a little bit with these other videos in between. And actually, so one of my favorite videos, I remember this actually because when you joined the Discord server, and so, when someone joins, you always go to their YouTube channel and like you feel it out. And I remember seeing your thumbnail for your video called "I Played Nintendo Games for 60 Days to Get My Life Together." And that was Brain Age and other brain training games, along with 2 of the cooking games that they put out where they were cookbooks and stuff. I forget the names of those. But I remember, I'm like, oh, I've seen this thumbnail before, which is a great little thumbnail of what I assume is your like Animal Crossing character design or what have you with all these other.
Yeah.
It's a great thumbnail. And I watched it, and it's a wholesome video. It's a unique video because you like approached it the way that they wanted people to actually engage with these games. So maybe, I don't know, a month ago, I went down this rabbit hole of watching every Nintendo E3 from 2006 all the way to the end, so 2012, I want to say. Mm-hmm. So obviously that's the Wii era, Wii U. And dude, when Wii Fit hit, there was like fitness in every single E3 presentation after that. They were just all about, the vitality sensor, hello, rest in peace vitality sensor. But like Nintendo truly was approaching this, they wanted people to be active with their games, and that led to perhaps controversial design decisions in games or approaches into the marketing. But anyway, that's a unique idea, but it has nothing to do with party games, but it's nested in that. And so I assume you also have like a list of ideas for that kind of stuff is what I'm really trying to say, because it's not just party games.
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you. That thumbnail was drawn by Cargodden on Twitter. She's great. You should definitely go check her stuff out if you like the style of that thumbnail. But that video was cool because it kind of just came from a New Year's resolution. Because I have never historically been a very good cook, and I've always wanted to learn. Just how to make better meals at home and not eat out like a bunch of stuff or like all the time, because that's a big vice for me, is eating out.
It can be a vice for us all.
Oh yeah. So I was like, it's January. I'm going to go and I'm going to learn how to cook, but I'm going to do it in a way that's going to stick. Like I want to do it in a way that's going to be fun, and I have to have a tangible reward or some kind of thing I'm working towards to keep me kind of in line. And my mind was like a video would be a good way to do that. And I was doing some research, and I was like, that Nintendo has these cookbook games, and there was a part of me that was just like, maybe this was fueled by going to like a recipe website and getting like a million pop-up ads that like made my phone like hot enough to cook an egg. But like
it is. We could go on a rant about webs. I'll save it. I have a small rant. Please continue.
I'm right there with you, man. But like, yeah. So I was like, I want a return to like something simpler. I want to do I want to use like a cookbook that's not my phone. Like I want to do something more novel, something that I have to be a little bit more deliberate with when I go to cook. I'm bringing my DS out or whatever. And so I found these two Touch Generation games. It was Personal Trainer Cooking and America's Test Kitchen for the DS. They were two like games. I think they were like $2 or $3 on eBay. Like they were dirt cheap. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try like learning to cook through like a fun little method. I'm going to make a video out of it. And, I'm going to just try to catalog a little bit of progress, because my hope is that like, that video would maybe inspire somebody else to try doing the same thing. And so it was a little bit of like a goal of mine to, stick to learning to cook and stick to learning to improve like my own personal habits, while also wanting to make a video that was a little bit unique and maybe hopefully like inspired somebody to do something positive,
Yeah. You definitely made me crave like brie by the end of the video. So.
Oh, that baked brie recipe. It's in America's Test Kitchen, I believe. It's real good. I love that recipe.
Yeah. Anytime there's brie, I'm there. Like at a party, I'm in the brie. I'm dipping in the brie.
I'm a big cheese guy. Yeah.
So, all right, really quick about recipes. So do you have an iPhone or are you an Android user?
I've gone back and forth, but currently I'm on iPhone.
Okay. Well, there's an app called Mila. I'll send this to you. It'll be in the show notes. This is by far my favorite recipe app that I've ever used in all the time. And the reason I love it is it specifically has a browser feature where you can open a web browser window in the app. You can paste or search whatever the recipe is. You go to the page, and it uses whatever tools it has basically to identify the recipe on the page, and you can just bring it into the app and then cook in the app interface. So you never have to scroll past those ads or, scroll 50 miles down the page to find the recipe. It just pulls it in, and you can cook with it, and you can tap it off. It's the best app. Everyone, please use it. I forget if it costs money. It's amazing. It is life-changing.
That sounds amazing.
It's so good. I think he's even recently added YouTube support. So, like, if the recipe is in the description, I think it can pull it there. This app is a game changer for cooking in a modern, like, way.
I don't want to be dramatic, but I think you just changed my life, Logan.
It's so, and what's even, it's so good because there's also like an RSS reader function. So say you're subscribed, like if you can get the RSS feed for Bon Appetit or the New York Times Cooking, you can load it in this RSS view and then like scroll through it like a Twitter feed. And so like Bon Appetit, I'm looking at it, here's spicy tuna noodle casserole. I don't know if I wanted to, and it's right there. I don't even have to go to the webpage. It's just pulling the feed in.
That's incredible. Oh man, I'm so excited about that. 'Cause, like,
and it has so many features I don't even use. You can meal plan. You can give it access to your calendar. So you're like, oh, well, on Wednesday, I'm going to make my baked brie dish, or, you can categorize things. You can tag. It is my favorite cooking app. I use it every day. You can use it to make grocery lists. So like if you use the reminders app, you can say, well, I need, A, B, and C, and it'll add it to your reminders. It's the best. Everyone go use Mila.
That sounds incredible. Cause lately I've just been using, my brother bought me a Stardew Valley cookbook for Christmas last year. It's really nice. I've been making a couple things from there. I made, they have a a recipe for it, like it's like a impossible burger that uses it's like beans and um a bunch of stuff. It was actually surprisingly good as somebody who doesn't usually eat impossible burgers.
Yeah.
And then they had a maki roll recipe in there that I tried just the other night, and it was really, really good. I really liked the spicy salmon filling, especially, was really good. So yeah, the Stardew Valley cookbook is also really good, especially if you are vegetarian or pescatarian. There's actually a good amount of recipes in there that would be really good.
It's the one from Fangamer, right?
I believe so. It's the official one. I don't know if Fangamer sells it or I think you can even find it in Target. Yes, it's that one.
Okay, yeah. There will be a link to it in the show notes. This I've thought about getting this for my wife multiple holidays because I've gotten her a lot of Stardew stuff over the years. We're actually going to the concert in a month. That was her Christmas present last year. Was the orchestral concert. Yeah, so I have never played Stardew Valley, but she played a lot of it, so.
Are you a, like, Harvest Moon farming sim fan at all?
I've never harvested the moon. I do play Animal Crossing. That's, like, as life simmy as it gets. I think I would like it. There's no doubt in my mind I would like it. I just have never booted it up. So I'm going to this concert and not knowing any of the music. I know there's like caves. You can romance different people. There's a museum. Like Abby's talked to me about it. I certainly have absorbed information about this game, but I don't, I have no clue. Like the whole rigmarole of it.
Yeah, I'm a huge Stardew head. I have the soundtrack on vinyl.
Okay.
I've played it a lot. If you are into life sims, especially if you're into ones that have like a really strong progression loop, Stardew Valley is exactly that. There's somehow Stardew Valley has struck this perfect pacing balance where there's always enough to do each day to where you are never bored and like walking around not doing anything, but you're also not drowning in things to do to the point where it feels like time is moving too fast. They managed to strike like this really, really good balance there. And it does have co-op too. So like you and Abby could do a farm together with like a shared wallet and stuff. And like play split screen and like manage a farm together. That could be fun.
Just like real life, shared wallet, live together. Here's the farm. I don't know. Maybe that's not the best thing. It's like we already live together. We already share a wallet. Maybe we don't need to share a virtual farm together.
Fair enough. But yeah, Stardew Valley is top 10 games for me, I think. I absolutely love that game.
It is the way people talk about it, it definitely is an all-timer for sure. I'm excited to hear the music finally. Maybe that will be what gets me overboard.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask really quick about the shorts that you do as well, because I'm on your YouTube channel. It says there's 120 videos, and I'm like scrolling through. I'm like, that is not 120 normal videos. And I click. Yeah. So I'm old man who yells at clouds. I don't really watch a ton of shorts. So I clicked over the shorts. I'm like, oh, he's got a lot of shorts. And then when you click the popular button, you're like, to me, these numbers are very, very impressive. A couple that are over 1 million. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And so I'm curious, I guess, about your approach. Obviously, these are different games. They don't just relate to Mario Party. There's Animal Crossing, New Super Mario Brothers, Monkey Ball, Mario and Luigi, like kind of Jet Set Radio. There's your Dreamcast right there. So why do shorts? What's the response been like? Do you see like a value in it as the creator, or you just do it because it's fun, or what have you?
That's a really good question. So like my philosophy with shorts is that I kind of view them as like, it is what YouTube kind of wants you to do these days. It feels like what YouTube kind of prioritizes is consistency. They want you showing up frequently. They want you like in people's faces if you want to garner a new audience, essentially. And shorts is a really good tangible way to do that, and reach people, more consistently. Cause, I like being scripted. I don't typically like, just kind of off the cuff talking about something that is, topical or something like that. Not to knock any news channels or anything like that. Of course you do you, but it's just not for me.
Sure.
So it makes it hard to put out scripted videos once a week or something when you're, one guy occasionally, getting an editor to help with a video or two. It's hard to do long form very consistently, but shorts are helpful because I can get kind of little interesting bits of info out fairly consistently. And for me, they're really helpful bits to test my concise writing abilities. Like for a while, YouTube shorts were 60 seconds hard cap. You could not do, like, if your short was 61 seconds, it would register as a full video and it would post it to your channel like it was a regular video. And so I kind of had to challenge myself, like, okay, you need to convey this idea in like 60 seconds or less. Like, how are you going to do that? So it kind of helped me learn how to maybe get to points a little bit more, write a little bit more concisely, which is ironic because I just released like a really, really long video about We Party You. But my goal with that is, if I'm going to put a video out that is like an hour plus, I want it to justify that runtime. I don't want you to feel like, oh, this guy's going off on like all these tangents that like are unnecessary, or, like this video is bogged down with pacing issues, and I think shorts kind of help me learn to be a little bit more concise in my writing. I also view it as, like, I think shorts and TikToks kind of have like this stigma that it's like brain rot content, right? And like, I get it. I totally understand why that is. And my goal has been, I don't want to do brain rot. Like, I don't want to create content that is going to be kind of like in one ear and out the other. And my goal has been, how do I create something that's easily consumable, but also give somebody maybe a little bit more of an understanding of something that they enjoy, or a little interesting fact about something they enjoy. It encourages them to think a little bit more deeply. Like, one of the shorts I did was on New Super Mario Brothers, and it was why the, like, each of the songs have the like pa sound in them.
The sound of New Super Mario Brothers.
Yes. And the reason I made that was because I found myself kind of wondering, like, oh, like, I wonder why they added the Koopa, like the dancing of the Koopas, like in, like, to the song. I mean, the obvious answer is it's cute. It's a cute little bit of like, like world building, but, knowing Nintendo, and especially knowing, like their sound teams and their design teams, I was like, I know there has to be some kind of deeper thinking to this. And I found a old GDC panel that Koji Kondo did, where he was talking about interactivity between music and games, because games are a very interesting medium where, the player are directly interacting with like its world and the different pieces there. And he was talking about like how, interactive music kind of sells a player on the world. And he gave a lot of examples of, how the player's actions can affect the music, like how battle themes dynamically change in like The Legend of Zelda, about how, in Dire Docks and Jolly Roger Bay and Mario 64, the track adds instruments depending on where you are in the level. But then he kind of flipped it and he said, so that's your gameplay affecting the music. But what if the music had an effect on the way that you play the game? So what we did was we added this little element where the Koopas dance to the pa sound, which added a little bit of irregularity, made you have to listen to the music to anticipate the way that you jump, the way that you approach a level, the way that you approach its obstacles. And it encourages you to just kind of take the music in a little bit more as you play. And I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, how do I get this to people in a manner that's digestible and quick? And I've kind of felt like shorts was a really, really good medium for that.
I like it. I'm gonna have to give it that one a watch. I didn't watch that one because I honestly didn't want to hear the baba at that time. At the time,
it's fair. It's fair.
I did watch the Luigi one, the Mario Luigi one. Which poor Luigi indeed.
Poor Luigi. Yeah, that one is so funny because it's like a sprite that it has been memed like back, like front and back. But like I got a lot of comments of people saying I did not know that like this was in this game, and I've played it for like 20 years, and I'm like, somehow I as a kid stumbled onto it. I don't know how I did that, but like it was like just a lot of my shorts it's like this little piece of information that is rotting my brain, and I just need somebody else to hear it for a moment.
I don't want to make brain rot, but the stuff in there is rotting my brain, and I have to get it out.
Exactly. So it's like, oh, here's this little interesting tidbit, or, here's this regional difference of, the way that like, people who, live across the pond interacted with this game differently than maybe you did because the content was different or something like that. I just find it as an interesting avenue to maybe disseminate little bits of information that hopefully get people to be a little bit more intrigued about the games they love.
Well, I can't wait to hear about banana splits, Japanese differences in a short coming soon.
You know what's funny? I did write a script for it. I just have not put that out yet. But I do want. I'll make it eventually. I swear.
Oh my goodness! Before I start picking your brain about how you actually make the videos, I gotta ask. It sounds like the answer is no, but are there any party games that are off the table? Like, where is your Fortune Street coverage? Will we get Amiibo Festival deep dive? I want a 90-minute deep dive into Amiibo Festival, please.
Yeah. So, the short answer is not really. I would cover, anything as long as my criteria is I feel like I have to have something to contribute to like the conversation. So like, if I play like a party game and I literally just feel like nothing, like I'm like, oh, like I don't really know how to like glean anything interesting from this, I may not cover it, but like Fortune Street, I definitely want to cover because that one is fascinating. I haven't played a ton of it. It's admittedly one that I haven't really delved into as much as a lot of other party games, but I do really want to give it a shot. Like in a rec room sense. Amiibo Festival is definitely on my list because that is another ND Cube party game.
Oh, it is.
And
okay.
I think as like a guy who is a massive Animal Crossing head and a massive Mario Party head, I feel like I was the only person excited for that game, like in the whole world. Cause like when they reveal, I'll never forget. I'm sure you remember this too. Like when they revealed that game and it was like the HD models for like Isabelle, like walking out from the train station. Everybody's like, oh my God, it's a new Animal Crossing. It's Animal Crossing for Wii U. And then you see board spaces and then you see Tom Nook like roll a die. And everybody, like every reaction I've ever seen was like, what is this, Nintendo? Like it was a time you kind of had to be there. I feel like
it just like it's such a shame when because they made all these HD assets, and then they also had that would you call it like an app or whatever, like where they made the plaza. It was like the plaza or something.
Yeah,
they made that.
It was like it lasted for a year, and then they took it down, and it was only ever relevant for Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS. So like you had a Wii U tie-in application for a 3DS game. Like it was just very strange. It was a very strange time to be an Animal Crossing fan because it felt like Nintendo was giving us everything except what we wanted.
Yeah, it's because the potential for, not to like daydream about a game that'll never come out, but like Animal Crossing on the Wii U would have been sick. from the
Oh,
gamepad perspective, and like plazas, and they could have crushed it, but it wouldn't have sold as well.
They could have,
because poor Wii U.
Yeah, it probably, because right now of the mainline games, the Animal Crossing City Folk on the Wii, I believe, is the worst selling,
which is a shame.
Which is a shame. I'm a City Folk defender a little bit.
You and me, there are two of us.
Yeah, even though like I do have a short on my channel. It's one of the higher viewed ones called that's about animal tracks. Where like, you know, the grass deteriorated in City Folk especially. And I remember being on forums like Animal Crossing community, and I remember distinctly like a lot of people hating that feature to the point where like they created petitions to like get it removed. But there were also people that loved it too. But like I wrote a short about that, and like a lot of people were like kind of upset at me because they were like, "Oh, it was a cute feature, like they shouldn't have gotten rid of it." And I was like, you know, I don't disagree with you. I just think it probably could have been retooled. But I think it's interesting that like that feature was so controversial that like in 2010 they had fans making petitions to get it removed.
Have you heard of Animal Crossing City Folk Deluxe? Just came out not terribly long ago.
I have not played it, but I have heard about that.
I also have not played it. I'll have to actually like get it set up and installed, but it's a full-blown mod enhanced edition of City Folk that sounds like if I ever went back to City Folk, I would probably dabble with this first. Which is pretty cool. So
it is really cool. The Animal Crossing community's been putting out, I think a mod, I could be totally wrong on this, but I believe a mod for the GameCube game came out somewhat recently too. That kind of improves things on in that game as well, which I think is fascinating.
The community is desperate. We need the next game, Nintendo.
we need Animal Crossing on Switch too. The fans are begging.
They will. Yeah. I hope the new one does incorporate a city element. I feel like that is a logical, like after just building your own island, like let us design our own city to a degree, I think would be pretty fun. But we'll see what they cook up.
I'm very interested to see where they go with the series, because New Horizons was very headstrong in the like town customization, you know, design philosophy. And I'm curious as to how they could give the player more tools to customize a town and still make it feel like Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Dude, the mouse mode in that game is going to be sick.
It would go off. I will be at the Able Sisters 24 hours a day designing t-shirts.
Exactly. And just decorating a room, like just being able to move objects around a room, and it's like in Happy Home Designer, it's going to be the mouse is going to be instrumental in that game. Same with Super Mario Maker whenever they make a third one.
That's got to be coming out for Switch 2 eventually.
It was made. It's practically screaming and begging to be on the console. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Now it's time to leave the rec room and go into the recording room. Yeah. So
that's smooth.
I am a big fan of game capture and getting the highest quality footage I can. And I'm always curious how other people capture these old games. And I think what's particularly interesting, and I want to get to it in a little bit, but I want to start with the technical stuff first, is in your case, you need friends to come over and play it. You can't just necessarily capture it all by yourself. But first is you're covering a franchise that goes all the way back to the N64, is on numerous platforms from the Game Boy to the Switch. What's your approach to capturing all these games? Do you capture off real hardware? Are you emulating? What is the I know on the DS video you used your modded DS for capture purposes, so I'm curious how you do it.
Yeah. So I'm insane because I record off of real hardware. So like all of the footage in my videos, unless if obviously I credit a source otherwise, like I've recorded off of like real Nintendo 64s and GameCubes. I've got HDMI adapters for each of them. Like I have the Retro Bit Prism for my GameCube.
Sure.
And I have the I don't remember the name of the N64 one. I believe it's like the Super 64 or something like that.
From
it's like
Eon?
an HDMI adapter. Yeah, I believe so. I think so.
Yeah. The Super 64. That is exactly what it's called.
Yes. I recorded that, and like I think especially when I was recording some of those games, I think God must have loved me because I don't know how I managed to get all of the rare items in Mario Party 3 that if you're not familiar are very rare. Like it's not easy to get those. But I managed to get all of them while recording like just like regular unmodded games of Mario Party. So I'm a little bit insane because I could probably do a lot of that faster with emulators. Like you could use Action Replay or Gecko codes to make sure that you land on the spaces you need to and stuff like that. And I've done that a little bit for shorts, especially if I'm, recording bits of unused footage, or I just did a short recently about like rare dialogue that you get if you have the maximum amount of stars in like each of the classic Hudson Soft Mario Party games, which you can't get without
cheating,
like using cheat devices. Yeah, like you can do it, or like you could theoretically do it in like the N64 games, but it's not likely. But my philosophy for recording this footage and stuff is something I've noticed with my Mario Party series is that like a lot of people will remember things like from past Mario Party games and stuff. That's not technically possible. Like I remember I put out a short a little bit ago about the turn order roll, like when you first start a Mario Party game. And the fact that like it's impossible for two players to roll the same number there. So like,
well,
if one player rolls a 7, it's not possible for anybody else to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but like I was like, so what if you overrode it with cheats? Like, what does the game do? Does it crash? Does it do anything? Spoiler: it defaults to port order. So player 1, player 2, player 3, etc. Just like any other. But what was interesting is I did get some comments of people saying, I swear this has happened to me. Like, I swear I've seen people tie like at the roll startup. And I'm like, I don't know how to break it to them. I'm like, it's it's not possible. I'm sorry. Like, it's just not possible. But my philosophy is that I like to record things with real hardware so people know that what I'm talking about and the things that I'm showing can happen in the version of the game that you're playing that's unmodded as well. It kind of builds a little bit more confidence in like in the transaction a little bit there, where that the version I'm playing is, I guess, like untampered with, I suppose.
Well, I'm in the same camp. I always try to capture off real hardware. Always. It's to me it's vital. So I love hearing it. When I saw that you modded your DS for this, I was like, this is the man. He gets it. So then my question for you is how are you going to tackle the 3DS? Because 3DS capture cards are getting, I suppose, more common, but it is a tricky platform to capture. So what's your approach for the 3DS games?
Yeah, so I actually do have a loopy boarded 3DS, like new 3DS XL.
Okay.
So I can just record footage. Like I've already recorded my footage for my island tour video, like my gameplay. And like all of that was recorded on real hardware, because the thing with that is this and the DS is that it's not really possible to replicate the stylus a 1-to-1 on like an emulator with like using your mouse or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get that same feel as you do, you know, using a stylus on your real DS, like drawing, like there are mini games in Mario Party DS where you're like tracing lines or you're drawing shapes and stuff like that. And like, it just doesn't hit the same on an emulator. And the same is even more true for Island Tour, because there are mini games that use gyro. There are mini games that use the like the microphone. Like one of the most popular mini games is the Choicest Voice, like where you're literally doing impressions of Mario characters for like, and you get judged based on how well you perform that impression. It's hilarious. But there's like, so like there's that. There's also there's a few mini games that use the AR cards. If any of my 3DS heads remember those. Yeah, there's like a couple of them. So like, to me, it's vital that I cover that content because it's multiplayer. It's in like, it's a part of the overall package, and it's important to cover it in the way that you yourself, if you were choosing a party game to play, to cover it in the way that you would experience it as well.
I like that. Do you remember who you had install, or did you install it yourself? I'm curious which service you used.
So it was, I believe it was just 3dscapture.com was the site I used.
Okay. So I've looked at that, and here's my hang up, is I have a Majora's Mask 3DS, and I'm like, do I really want to cut into that? But like buying a 3DS right now, a new 3DS XL, would like be $300-$400. Those things are so expensive.
It's insane. It's
bad
ridiculous.
right now.
I lucked out because like right before the pandemic, I got on like a huge 3DS kick. I mean, I've always loved the 3DS, but like I was just like, man, like I just really want to like kind of go all in on like 3DS games right now. And so this was back when Nintendo was selling refurbished 3DSs. I bought the flame red new 3DS XL for $100, like refurbished from Nintendo. So it was like brand new. And so that's the one that I had modded, because I still have my base black 3DS XL, or not XL, the glossy regular 3DS that I bought like way back in like 2013. And then I have a Smash 3DS XL. So I was like, you know, I'm comfortable sending this 3D or this new 3DS XL in to be modded, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like at that time, that was the only one that he was modding. But I had to like physically package my console and send it to him, and he sent it back fairly quickly. It was pretty communicative and stuff like that. It was all pretty nice, and it's nice because it records both video and audio via USB-C. So it's like really convenient, and it charges the console too. So it's really convenient and really easy to record. I kind of want to cover more 3DS stuff just because it's easy with like an actual modded console.
Okay. I've thought about it a lot. Like maybe like just get a different back plate to send to be cut through or something. I don't know. Interesting. I'll put a link to it.
It would be hard to give that up.
Well, but here's the other thing, though. This is like the dumb part of my brain. It's like, I'm never going to sell it. So, like, why do I care that it's like this valuable Zelda edition? Like, I want to capture footage off of it because I have not only just 3DS footage, but I DS footage as well, which is something that, for example, like on my other podcast, Chapter Select, our Metroid Prime season, it will come out when Nintendo decides to announce when Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. But I don't have any footage of Federation Force or Metroid Prime Hunters, both of which I played on my 3DS. I actually modded Hunters on my 3DS to use the little nubbin for camera controls. Ooh. And like, you know, that was, I don't know, 15 to 20 hours of gameplay across both those games. I don't have any of it. I really wish I did. That would have been great, actually, because I'm not... Also, the odds of me playing those games again, super slim. Super slim.
Yeah, very fair. And It's like one of those where you'd want to be able to record it. You have the gameplay footage, and then you never touch it again.
Right. It just sits in the archive. So I will. It's good to know someone else who's used that particular service. So I'll give it some heavy consideration. It's truly the only console I can't get footage of is the DS and 3DS. Well, not true with the DS because of the Wii U. I can play on Wii U.
Oh yeah.
But that's through official emulation. So like, and not all games work. Like the Pokemon games are notorious for not running well in emulators. So I need real hardware.
I totally agree. And that's originally how I was going to record Mario Party DS, is because I have it on my Wii U Virtual Console. But I just didn't like the way that it was laid out. I didn't like the fact that like there's something about Wii U Virtual Console games that all of them are just like a little dark. Like they all just kind of emulate very...
Yeah, no, the Wii U's Virtual Console is awful. Big regret was sending all of my WiiWare and Virtual Console stuff to my Wii U with the system transfer.
Same.
Big regret. I mean, that doesn't have to be a problem in this day and age. If you homebrew your Wii, you can just fix that. But at the time, it was a big bummer. Just a big fat bummer.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm also a real hardware guy as much as I possibly can be.
Good. I like it. You're my kind of guy, Mark. You're my kind of guy. So then, since they're party games, how do you record the footage of your actual game sessions? Do you call up your friends and say, yo, I need to play Mario Party 9. Come on over. Like, what is that process like? Because it's so... You have a real-life social dynamic, too. You're like, hey, I kind of need this for my, my work YouTube channel thing. Please come over and play Mario Party. I'll give you pizza or something. Or since you've been... the quote unquote the Mario Party guy and your apartment was the Mario Party apartment, people are just like, it's Mark, we're gonna play Mario Party.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky because my friends are phenomenal. They all like are very supportive of like my channel and stuff. They're actually, a few of them actually did some voiceover for me in like my Wii Party and my Mario Party 9 video. They voiced like the ND Cube devs. So like they're all great folks and they love playing party games. So if I call them and I say, hey, do you guys want to like come over and play Mario Party or something? I know they'd all be down to do so. But like lots of the sessions too, I do record, like for the boards especially, I do record by myself just because I play those in a way that is not conducive to fun sometimes. Sure. Which is having to try to record every happening event because I'm playing on real hardware. Lots of times I'm taking over control of like other CPU characters to make sure they land on happening spaces or do certain events so that way I can get footage of that event. But, like I think the social element is also very important to capture. But yeah, like in terms of recording and like organizing footage, a lot of it is I just try to record a board and then I take physical notes of specific turns when something happens that is relevant to point out or something that I know I'm going to make a point of, making sure to leave notes of what turn and when it happened and who it happened to. So that way I can, when I'm editing, I can easily go and find that clip of that thing happening. Cause lots of times it's like a 10-second clip of like Mario flying on Klepto from one side of Shy Guy's Jungle Jam to the other. And like, that's the clip I need in that moment, basically.
Right. I hadn't really considered it, but the game essentially is acting like a bunch of chapter markers for you because it is turn-based and player. Wow, that's actually, if you take the notes as you play, that's actually probably pretty easy for you to find the clips. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's I've gotten better about it too, because I used to like just kind of write down when stuff would happen. And then I was like, oh, well, I'll figure it out because like sequentially these things happen. But then, I started using turn markers a little bit more, and getting better at just like taking notes in general has helped me remarkably. But yeah, it is nice because it like the game kind of breaks it up for me a little bit in a way.
So then do you then take that final video? So say you've got you were a sicko and did a 50 turn gauntlet on some board, and you played all these mini games. Do you then take that and make smaller chunks of, for example, all the mini games? So you're like, this is mini game A, this is mini game B, and then you kind of just have a folder of all of these mini games that you can quickly grab? Or when you're pulling in a specific mini game, you're pulling in all of the footage from Mario Party 5 and you find the one board where you played it? Or how do you go about organizing all of these mini games? Because I mean, they did literally make a game of the top 100 mini games, so there's a lot.
Yeah, there's like there's like over 1,000 in the series, like mini games overall. And I just, when I record mini games, I actually just go into like the free play modes and I play each mini game like one after each other, like record them each as separate files, and then just have them all in like a mini games folder. So that way it's really easy to go back and pull from. Because like, especially as the series has gone on, you see ideas get reused or reworked between entries and stuff like that. And it's really good to have them accessible and easy to use as reference when you're like, when I'm talking about mini games in like future entries. Because like, for example, there's a mini game archetype where you'll have to count like a certain amount of characters that run across the screen. So like roll call. Yeah. So like roll call in like Mario Party 2 is kind of like that, but then they did a different version of it in Wii Party called commuter count, where you basically just press A as like a tally, like one of those little stopwatch things that people use at like amusement parks to judge attendance and things like that. And then they reuse that idea in like Mario Party 9 and in Wii Party U. And so like, it's important to have easily accessible footage that I can slot into a video or send to an editor to just say, hey, I referenced this mini game. Here's the footage for that. And streamline that process. Because if I was having to dig through the boards, I think it would be very difficult.
It would be agonizing, I would think. I think here's an idea, free idea, whether or not you want to do it. But there could be some, sort of a sick video where you rank every single Mario Party minigame ever. Like, top 1,000.
Oh, yeah. So that does kind of exist. There's a creator named Ouija the God that did that a few years ago. It was just 1 through 10. But he did like every single Mario Party game, which is like insane.
Oh my goodness.
And I do kind of want to do something like that once I'm towards the end of this series. Like,
yeah,
I kind of want to do like towards the end of it, maybe some big like kind of recaps. Like, I recently put out a video right before my Mario Party 9 one where I went through and essentially ranked each minigame set from worst to best based on my my mean scores for each minigame set.
Yeah.
So not just which Mario Party has the best minigames, but which one has the best like toggleable set that you can choose. Because I thought it was interesting, and I'd love to do that when the series is done as well. Because big unnecessarily long like deep dives like that are something I find really fun.
So have you considered, I noticed some channels do these marathon videos where they just take like 5 of their videos and throw them all in one video. So there's you just stack them back to back and they just hit play. Have you ever considered something like that for like your Mario Party videos? Like, here's all the N64 ones, here's all the, GameCube ones, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I have thought about that. I haven't done it, I think just because in my mind, like, I kind of like giving people like kind of the series as a means that where they can just kind of jump in on their favorite entry, because like
Yeah.
a lot of people have their Mario Party, right? I grew up playing Mario Party 4. I grew up playing Mario Party 7, or I grew up playing 8, or
Those
DS, or whatever.
Poor people.
Yes. And but like, everybody's got their favorite entry, and I like the playlist and series as a means of like, they can jump in, and let's say they're a big fan of Mario Party 4, for example. They can jump in and watch my video on 4, and then they'll probably hear me reference, oh, like they did this idea in Mario Party 2, and I kind of liked it better when they did it in this game as opposed to Mario Party 4. Like, somebody may look at the mini pipes that you can go through and think, oh, well, that's kind of a fun interaction with items. And I can say, and I, as a insane person who has played every Mario Party game, would say, yeah, that's a neat idea, but I think the Nintendo 64 games with the skeleton key did that idea better, and then they can say, oh, well, that sounds interesting. Let's watch that video then and see
that one. Yeah.
Kind of where he's coming from.
Yeah. I like that. That's good. You mentioned it briefly not terribly long ago. Your mean, median, and mode. You're really bringing back math into my life. I find this a super... I can't actually recall a review or like an analytical video that not only is rating something on a number scale, but then taking all of that data and then giving me more numbers. It's in a genuine way, not just like number go big. You're like taking the statistical mathematical approach to like, but what is the de facto best Mario Party game according to you and your opinion on the game design? And I think you're overall pretty fair. You don't have like some twisted opinions, I don't think. But why be so statistical with... Is statistical a word? Statistical with...
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, with Mario Party.
Yeah, well, that's something that I thought was a little bit unique with the way that I wanted to approach it, because there are people who have made like Mario Party reviews before. Sure. King K famously, with his Chance Time series, which was a big inspiration for mine. The way that I wanted to approach that is, if you read or watch any kind of Mario Party review, there's a very common thread between all of them, which is they'll say the mini games are good. There are some good ones and there are some bad ones, and they typically never really go any deeper than that. And there's always been like a little bit of a debate within like, Mario Party fan circles, it feels like, of, well, which game has the best mini games? Like, oh, I think Mario Party 4 has the best mini games, or I think 7 does, or whatever you have. And the way that I wanted to kind of figure that out for myself was, well, what if I like tried to put some kind of concrete criteria to it? Take a simple 1 through 10 scale of, rating a mini game, which is something I feel fairly confident in rating because they're simple and they're, the sort of thing that you could pretty confidently rate. Take this large set, which is usually, like average Mario Party game is, has, at least like, 60, 70 mini games in its set, sometimes more. Add these numbers all, or like, rate each of these mini games, combine them into some kind of digestible number, aka like an average score, and like the median in the mode to, kind of offset any outliers, and then see like, where you're like where each game stacks up in terms of your opinion. Because like, at the end of the day, it is still just my opinion. It is like, people will likely disagree with some of my mini game rankings, but for me, it kind of gives me a little bit of pause about, which game has the most consistently good lineup of mini games, and is the expectation in my head different than what I actually wind up getting on paper,
Yeah, I'm following you. So does that ever does that then influence when you go to play these games for just fun, you're like, well, I don't want to play this one because it's got the worst mini games. Or do you, or you're not so much beholden to these scores, and you're more just like, well, I want to do day-night cycle stuff, or I want to ride in a car, or I want to bust out the microphone.
It's a good, like, truthfully, when I'm playing Mario Party for fun, I always let everybody else in the room pick. Like, they'll ask my opinion, and they'll say, like, oh, like, which one do you prefer? And I'll tell them, but I usually try to withhold it, and I let them pick, because, like, number one, I want everybody to have fun, but, like, number two, like, in my head, like, I will play my least favorite Mario Party with friends, and I will have fun. Because at the end of the day, playing games, especially playing Mario Party with friends, like even playing 9 and 10 with friends is fun to me, because we're gonna have a laugh, we're gonna goof off, we're gonna probably play some fun mini games, and we've all, like, my friends and I, we've always, like, kind of joked about, like, our favorite Mario parties, and, like, had, like, you know, internal discussions and stuff like that. So, like, it doesn't fully influence. I mean, obviously, if somebody was to ask me, oh, which one should we play? I'd say, you know, oh, we should play 6, or we should play 3, because those two are my favorites. But, like, if somebody, like, one of my friends, his favorite is 5, which is not one of my favorites personally. And if he comes to me and he says, hey, let's play Mario Party 5, I'm still plugging my controller in 100%. Because I just love playing Mario Party, truly.
There you go. That's the move. I'm curious about your editing process. What app you use, how you approach an edit, like a 90-minute edit. Obviously, you record the VO and then bring in. Well, I'm assuming you record the VO and then bring in the footage. I guess I shouldn't say obviously, but what is a Mark edit look like? What are you using? All the stuff.
Yeah. So unfortunately I edit in Premiere. I
I'm
like
so
Premiere
sorry.
because there's yeah, I edited a couple of videos in Resolve, and whenever anybody asks me, like, oh, what editor should I use if I'm, like, starting out, I always point them towards Resolve because it's good and it's free. I use Premiere because I like its layout, and I like there's a lot of really, really helpful tutorials with Premiere, which has helped me a lot just in terms of, like, improving my editing a little bit, is that I feel like there's a lot of helpful resources out there. But a Mark edit, honestly, it's kind of like, I feel like when it comes to procrastination with videos, editing is probably the area I procrastinate the least in. Like, when I'm writing a video, I feel like I go through a lot of drafts, and I'm constantly kind of, like, nitpicking my writing. And when I'm recording VO, I'm kind of doing a lot of retakes, and I'm kind of nitpicking, like, my intonation and my, like, the way that I'm reading things and such. But then when I get to the editing room, I'm like, I'm just kind of in, like, this state of, like, I don't want to say, like, mania. I would almost just more so say, like, excitement of, like, man, this video is real. Like, I'm so excited to, like, put this out because it's real now. But like, my personal philosophy with editing is that I want it to be smooth but unobtrusive. Because at the end of the day, the way that I feel is that the content that the true content is the words that I'm saying and the script that I'm writing. And I personally like to try to bog the video down with as few, like, sound effects or jump cut flashes as much as possible if I can, just because I like to kind of let the script speak in a way. And so, like, I like to try to incorporate elements of the games that I'm discussing in my edits, but I usually like to try to make them as unobtrusive and kind of, focused as they can possibly be, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I do. No, it does make sense, because when someone sees a video is 90 minutes long, that's That's a big ask. It can be a big ask, I should say. I mean, some people do love just watching super long videos all the time. And I think it's almost the editor's responsibility to make that like as worthy of a time. And, you know, the material is what they're there for, but the edit, I think, helps keep them there. And it helps tell the story visually and distinctly. And given that you use so many examples, you're talking about so many things, having the visual aid, like you could read your script on a website and you could have the whole history and your views on the game, but the video part is what, I don't know, makes it dynamic in a way almost. And it draws the audience in. I love, it really is smooth. And I think part of that is the way you would write the script, like the way that you're segueing into each chunk of the game and the way you talk about them. But the visual, I love your editing is kind of the point. It's the way it all comes together. It's a very engaging style,
Well,
but
you.
not engaging in the like, my eyes can't stare away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like this high octane thing, but then you slip a joke in every now and then. That's like the really good. Just you've got the pace. you've got the sauce, as some may say.
Well, thank you. My personal philosophy, especially with like those long videos, is that, you know, I respect, I think, the viewer's time. You know, like you said, a 90-minute video is a big ask. And especially when you hear somebody say, hey, I made a 90-minute video about Mario Party 9, I think a very normal response to that is, how the hell did you film 90 minutes about Mario Party 9? You know what I mean?
Well, 85 of them were complaining about the car, so.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, there's a little bit of a problem sometimes with, you know, it's very easy for a video to kind of balloon out of control with tangents and things that are kind of sort of related, but maybe not necessary for the overall point you're trying to make. And like, my goal with my videos is that if I'm going to ask for 90 minutes of your time, I am going to do my best to make sure that every minute of that video feels like it was planned, that it's 90 minutes because it needs 90 minutes to like fully discuss and fully explore. You know, if I'm going to cover a topic like Mario Party 9 that did have a big design shift and such, like, you know, I promise I'm not just going into tangents about how the Wii was released and, you know, like what sort of things like Xbox and Sony were doing at that time. Like, I want to kind of narrow in on the history of what we're talking about and make sure that like this video is respecting your time and you're getting what you clicked for. And I think like my philosophy is kind of the same with jokes. And I'm sure as a fellow like creator, you can relate that I think I'm a horrible judge about whether I'm funny or not. Like,
oh, I think my stuff's hilarious. I'm like, this is the best joke that's ever been put to video. And then it's like, it's like fine.
The world of comedy is shaking in its boots by the time I put this video
exactly
out.
I mean, I think my last video I put in a joke about New Super Mario Brothers. I was like, this is my magnum opus. And it's not the hottest thing out there, I can tell you that.
Like, I'm just like, especially when I'm in the editing room and I'm hearing myself tell this joke kind of over and over and over again. I'm just like, this isn't funny. I should cut this. This isn't funny. I should cut this. And then I don't, because I'm like, you're a bad judge about whether you're funny or not, because you're listening to it over and over again. And the punchline doesn't hit the 10th time you hear it, you know? But then I'll leave that bit in and like, I'll get comments of people like thinking that bit was really funny. And I'm like, oh, you know, like, sometimes we're our own worst critic, and it's easy when you're, you know, kind of poring over something constantly for it to feel obvious or for it to feel like it doesn't add value, but it does. And it, like, you know, the audience will gather that. Like, I almost cut this one joke from my Mario Party 7 video, and I'm thankful I didn't because people seem to really like it. But it was like, Mario Party 7 has this theme where each of the boards are themed around different places in the world. So like, there's a board themed around like Venice, Italy, and there's a board themed around like the Netherlands and Japan and such. And then there's the Bowser board, like that's lava and stuff. And so in this video, I was just like, these boards are themed around tons of different places around the world, like Italy, Egypt, and Florida. And then I flashed the Bowser
Yep.
board all over Florida.
Sounds like Florida.
It was so funny because like I was editing, I was like, that's not funny, just cut it, it's not funny. And then like people seem to really resonate with it, so I was like, oh, you know, like I'm glad I didn't cut it. But I wanted that joke to kind of just kind of hit and then not linger on it for too long, because I don't want to bog the video's pace down by trying to do a stand-up routine, but I also want to add some humor and some personality to keep things interesting and make you feel like you're talking to a friend that's like maybe a little too into Mario Party or something,
We all have one friend who's way into it. It's true.
I think I have a feeling I know who yours is.
Well, yes, you count people in my people in real life that I can see. I also have another friend like that. She takes it very seriously.
That's awesome.
One time, I thought I had the win. I got like 3 stars in a row. I was able to stack that up. And then she came out of nowhere and won. I was like, how? How did you do this? How did you beat me? I did 3 in one turn.
Story.
How did you do this?
It's always the underdog story. But...
Feels like that. So I had one more personal edity question because of my, I want to satiate my own curiosity. You have these little text speech bubbles that match the games you're talking about when you put a quote in. So it'd be a text dialogue box for Iwata, but it'll be in the style of We Party You or Animal Crossing or what have you. I'm incredibly jealous of this idea and I love it and I want to know how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is as simple as using the game sprites and kind of bringing them in and freshening them up a little bit. I think the We Party one, I just kind of recreated the text boxes because they're pretty simple, and I added a little the A button kind of flashing to make it look like the text box and such. And I really what it is I want the videos to feel like they're coming from somebody who just really cares, somebody who really loves these games or really loves talking about these series, or is, even if I don't love a game, if I'm really digging it, that I'm really digging into it and I'm really trying to, kind of put myself into this game's world as I'm talking about it in a way. 'Cause I think it's really important to me that the videos come across as authentic, again, you're hearing a guy who really cares about these games and thinking about them more deeply and criticism of them and stuff like that it comes through in the visual presentation as well, that there's a little bit of an extra mile of oh, he's taken time to stylize these videos or these quotes in a way that feels like it fits into this video and it's not just branded to himself or something like that. It does create extra work, but I think it's worth it to kind of give each video its own semblance of personality. And it for me, it was also a nice little bit of skeuomorphism to make it clear that where my script ended and their quotes began. You can, and give it a little bit of a gamey feel that you're hearing them say these terms in a text box, like that would look like a dialogue box from the game.
Yeah, I love them. I think it's a wonderful touch to the videos, and I'm jealous that A, I didn't have the idea first, B, that I haven't implemented it myself, and C, didn't know how, but now I have some ideas. So maybe a text box will appear in a video of mine in the future. We shall see. But
yes,
I think that does it, Mark. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to chat with me. This was a ton of fun to pick your Mario Party filled brain. So thank you so much, man, for coming on.
Yeah.
Folks can find you over on YouTube, Mark's Rec Room. There will be links in the show notes to all of this where you can watch all of his party videos. You could have a party. You could have a watch party to watch Mark's party videos. Definitely give them all check them out. They're wonderful. You will have a ton of fun watching them. So give that a watch. Is there anything else, Mark? Any other place to point the people to besides the YouTube channel?
I mean, I'm on sites like TikTok and Instagram if you prefer those sorts of places for short form. Okay. I'm also on Twitter and Bluesky too for tweets and skeets.
Please no, stop, please stop.
I don't know what else to call them, unfortunately, but if
a post, just call it a post.
So if you want short form tweets and posts, I'm on there too. But yeah, YouTube is my bread and butter. It's what I like. I love writing and yapping about games and stuff, and hopefully I plan to deliver some more. But thank you so much for having me, Max. This was super, super fun. Very engaging convo. It was a pleasure chopping it up.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. If you folks would like to find the rest of my work, you could go over to maxfrequency.net. That's where the blog is, and links to all the other stuff like the YouTube channel, my other podcast, Chapter Select, where we bounce back and forth between a series exploring its evolution, design, and legacy. Think what Mark does for Mario Party, but in audio form, with my co-host Logan Moore. The Metroid Prime season is being buttoned up. I'm just waiting on Nintendo, quite honestly. So get it together. Come on. It's been rated in South Korea. It's been rated by the ESRB. This game is coming. Just tell us. Tell us, Nintendo.
We need it so bad.
We do. Kirby Air Riders gets a 45-minute direct before Metroid Prime 2 gets like a third trailer. So,
hey, they added a whole new button. It took some time to delve into.
Unfortunately. Bless Sakurai. Bless Sakurai.
Bless him.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Until next time, adios.